Time whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. Listen to another station I don't understand. Nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. They go up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land. Nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Yes, I'm on here. Am I on? Did somebody respond?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a Throwback Thursday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham. Glad that you are with us for this 2-hour exercise of radio excellence. We'll give it a shot. We'll see how that works out. It is also a federal holiday today, Juneteenth, which is something that most Americans were unaware of until like 2021, when Joe Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act into law. Now, as a refresher, the holiday honors the date when Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston Bay, Texas, back in 1865. 2,000 Union troops to proclaim that more than 250,000 enslaved black people in the state of Texas were free. It was 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln, father of the Republican Party, signed the Emancipation Proclamation on June 1st, 1863. So it sounds more like a Texas thing, doesn't it? Not a federal thing, right? I mean, look, I think celebrating it is a great thing. I think if we were going to celebrate this with a holiday, a federal holiday, well, why not do it on December 6th? When the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution officially abolishing slavery, except for radio producers, they just added that part. It was December 6th, 1865, when the Emancipation Proclamation was ratified. Why isn't that the holiday? I don't get it. And now I understand that December 6th is also D-Day, but that's all the more reason for that to be a holiday. And then we get a solid shopping day between Thanksgiving and Christmas. But seriously, I mean, we federally celebrate a date for something that happened in one state 2.5 years after the official thing happened. I don't get it. Why wouldn't we do it on the day that the Emancipation Proclamation was ratified? Just because Texas was slow on the draw. I don't know. They didn't have X, maybe. No internet down there in Galveston Bay. Nobody told them. Maybe they were kind of holding the information back. I don't know. That's a Texas problem. Federal government abolished slavery on December 6th, 1865. Period. End of story. Anyway, that's out there. Today's show is pretty busy because it is the last show of the week for us. And as you may have seen or heard by now, it's been on Facebook and so on. West Neighbor's mom, Miss Susan, passed away this past week. And the celebration of life is tomorrow. So the entire 97.7 crew will be there to support our brother. And we will kick this show to the network feeds. It starts during my show. So we'll kick this show in this time slot to the network feeds on the stations that carry the show. So we got a lot of ground to cover today. It's our last show of the week. We welcome those of you that are watching on the action, the Facebook and the YouTube. Check that out if you haven't yet. You can find it at various places, to be honest with you, but you can also find it at my own Twitter feed, which is at Thom Abraham Show. Just Thom Abraham Show. That's it. I don't know why. I have the picture of my motorcycle in the background. I'm feeling it a little bit today. I'm feeling like at some point in time, maybe later on, maybe I jump on the bike. It feels like it would be not a bad afternoon to jog. It's going to be finally going to stop raining, they said, for the next 10 days. It's supposed to be really nice. So I was feeling it, so I threw the bike up there. We welcome those of you listening on the apps as well. Those of you listening at Nashville, WNSR, and in Winchester and WCDT, and in Huntsville and our flagship station, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, WZZN. 6 signals in all, one phone number, 256-576-4977. Don't know when we get you in today. I mean, we'll certainly give it the old college try. We'll make every effort possible to get you in. But it's a busy show. We gave you an hour and a half of each of the last 2 shows. We really did. We had one guest each of the last 2 days. And then we'd have a wide open hour, and we'd take a couple of calls. Today, I'm doing 2 days worth of show in one day. It's a little bit busy. But if you want to get in, you can get in. You can always get in at the text window, 732-9TA show. 732-982-7469. Always get in there, and I'll read them on the air. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, Justin Ferguson from the Auburn Observer is in. There is a story out there suggesting that this will be Bruce Pearl's final season as the head coach at Auburn. I know one guy on the other side of the glass was wishing that it's Hugh Freeze's final season, but that's a whole nother story. Apparently, Bruce Pearl is eyeing a potential run at politics. The theory is that Tommy Tuberville is going to be the governor of the state of Alabama. Katie Britt will need a sidekick from Alabama, and Pearl could be that man. Apparently, Gus Malzahn or Brian Harsin are not available. By the way, senator is one thing, Senator Tuberville. Governor of the state of Alabama is maybe another. I mean, I'm just wondering. Conservative Bama fan, which is pretty much, most of you. Conservative Bama fan. Are you voting for Tub as your governor? You'd be like, just wondering. And Tennessee fan. Which former Vols coach would you vote for in politics? Like if there was a fight, like, the one that comes to mind for me, it would have been Pat Summitt before she got sick. I think Pat Summitt would have been a great politician. I think she would have done a tremendous job. Long as Gino Auriemma wasn't already in office, I think Pat Summitt would have been great at that. But who else? Because I don't think you people really like Phil Fulmer very much. I really don't. I mean, if Phil Fulmer said he was running for senator from Tennessee, you think you would be on board with that? Who is so beloved on the Rock that you would want to see that guy in politics? And also, Joe Goodman of AL.com wrote I think a partially tongue-in-cheek story. Maybe not. Maybe serious. I don't know if he's tongue-in-cheek or serious. That suggested Hugh Freeze has been sandbagging the last couple of years, setting the fan base up for a huge jump to 6-6 or 7-5 or something this year. Did he sandbag a little bit? Leaving Peyton Thorne out there at quarterback, and he's like, you know what? We're going to suck anyway. What's the difference if we go 6-6 or 4-8? I'd rather go 4-8, and then everybody, I heard Jumpin' Joe Hunk and his show in Huntsville on the Blitz saying about 9-3 for Hugh Freeze to keep his job. That's insane. I'm just going to say that right now before I crack his mic open. That's insane. Let me tell you something. 7-5, he saves his gig. 8-4, they roll Toomer's corner. 9-3, they'll throw him a friggin' parade if they're 9-3. That's what I think. We'll see what Ferg thinks. Then at the top of the one, Beau Estes is back from NBA TV and NBA.com as tonight the Thunder look to finish off the Pacers in Indianapolis while Tyrese Halliburton tries to go all Willis Reed and get back on the court. Look, if you're too young and you don't know what the reference is, then forget about it. Also, the Lakers are being sold for $10 billion. The most ever for any franchise in any sport in the U.S. $10 billion. You can buy the whole MLS like 3 times over for $10 billion. What's interesting is that Forbes, which is like the authority on this kind of stuff, Forbes magazine lists the Cowboys at $10.1 billion as the most valuable team in the U.S. They had the Lakers at number 8 most valuable team in the U.S. at $7.1 billion. So if the Lakers are bringing in $10 billion, then the Cowboys are probably worth about $15 billion right now. Right now. Right now. Cowboys probably worth $15 billion. Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys for $140 million in 1989. He got the debt and everything. The Cowboys were in trouble. They were in if you could imagine an NFL team in financial distress, the Cowboys were in financial distress. He got the Cowboys. He got the Texas Stadium with the hole in it. Got it all for $140 million in 1989. Now they are worth 100 times that. That's right. If they're worth $15 billion is 100 times more than $149 million. Jerry Buss paid $67 million for the Lakers in 1979. He got the Forum, the fabulous Forum, and they threw in the LA Kings as well. They're like, here, take the hockey team too. He bought the Lakers for $79 million. And they said, take the hockey team with you. They go, oh, okay, I'll take that too. 10 years later, he sold the hockey team, the LA Kings, to Bruce and McNall for $40 million. He basically got it as a throw-in. So his all-in for the Lakers and the Forum was $27 million. $27 million. Now they sell for $10 billion. That's 370 times what he paid for the team. And you wonder why the athletes are like, yeah, so what? We're making $50 million a year. Basketball player. What are these dudes making? He made 370. No, he's dead, but his family, his daughter, Jeannie, making 370 times what they paid for him. I mean, just crazy money. And you're like, well, wait, what about inflation? And, sure, he was 27 mil in 1979, because remember, he sold the Kings off. Well, 27 million in 1979 is the equivalent of 111 million today. 27 million is the equivalent of 111 million today. So it's crazy money, just crazy money. And by the way, that Kings team that was a throw-in that he got for, basically for free. Here, take the skates. Will you please take these sticks? Take this hockey team. That hockey team that he sold off for $40 million out of the $67 million that he bought the Lakers for. 10 years later, he sells the hockey team for $40 million. That hockey team is now worth $2.9 billion. And how about Chris freaking Sale last night? 8 2/3. I mean, really? 8 2/3? Really? I know he had thrown like 108 pitches or 110 pitches or something like that. He gives up a single with 2 outs and they take him out. Come on, Snit. Did Sale say he wanted to come out? I know he was excited to get the chance to go in and pitch the 9th, but he's 1 out away. I mean, Julio Iglesias, whatever, his name is. Raciel Iglesias. I should know. I got his bobblehead over there over on the shelf over there in the studio. Raciel Iglesias comes in and gets a grounder to second, a force out at second, and that's the end of the game. Chris Sale could have done that. It was 5-0. They scored 3 in the first, and Sale just sailed the rest of the game. A great job by him. Come on. He'd leave him in, let him get the complete game shutout. He hadn't done that since 2019 against the Rangers. So we'll talk some country hardball with Josh Caray of the Caray Broadcasting family. He's also the voice, of course, of the Rocket City Trash Pandas and just a solid baseball guy. They got some free baseball, by the way, down at Nissan this afternoon. They'll start it. They got a suspended game. They only got 3 innings in last night. And so that game will pick up at 4 o'clock today. And so when that game picks up at 4 o'clock today, if you have tickets to tonight's game, you can go to that too. So you can watch like 6 innings of that baseball game, which the Trash Pandas trail, I think 1-0 or something like that. You pick up that game, and then you get the late game too at no additional cost. And it's like NASCAR night down there, not racing night down there. They're going to have a race car down there that dude runs with the Trash Panda logo on it and all that kind of stuff. And speaking of baseball, what a college World Series game last night. How about LSU getting over on Arkansas last night? Are you kidding me with that game? Oh my gosh. What an unreal game. Unreal. So it'll be LSU and Coastal Carolina. So even if you're not an LSU fan, are you pulling for LSU now because it's SEC? Or do you want Coastal Carolina because it'd be, oh, cute, look, Coastal Carolina. LSU, SEC for me. All right, back in mission control, playing the platters and matter to stacks of wax, answer the phones, keeping us on the air. The one and the only, Jumpin' Joe Hunk.
Do you know who I am?
No, who is this?
Who is this guy?
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I'm very important.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I don't like violence, Tom. I'm a businessman.
You want to boo me? Fine.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
You come at the Kings, you better not miss.
No, you're rolling. Shut your mouth. You jabroni.
Let me show for y'all. Got a damn good show.
I will not wear that body with it.
So, Joe, so the Mets now have lost 5 in a row, and the Yankees apparently they refuse to win a game until the Mets win a game. The Yankees have lost 6 in a row. The Mets have lost 5 in a row. And the Angels, with 3 straight over the Yankees, are going for the sweep, a 4-game sweep of the Yankees in New York right now as we speak.
And the Angels are actually winning because Mike Trout just hit a home run.
Oh, my gosh. Mine won't come up on this. I don't know what's going on here with the in-studio. For some reason, it happens like every other day. For some reason, I completely lose the connection to the internet on the Chromecast thing. This is what I hate about this whole stupid cord cutting thing. I don't know why this happens. It happens almost every day. I've got a router over here. I've got everything is plugged up that has direct lines. And then I've got some stuff that in the Chromecast thing is on the wireless. And almost every day, I got to reboot the router thing so that the TV will come on. So now I didn't get to see Mike Trout hit that home run, which I don't know if I want to see that. What's it, 1-0?
It's 1-0. Cody Bellinger is batting now for the Yankees, and he just got a double. So he's standing on second base right now. Well, but Cody Bellinger's actually coming to bat. Sorry about that. The leadoff hitter got the double.
Was that was it Trent Grisham or who let off for him?
It wasn't Grisham. It was a right-handed batter.
Oh, right. Oh, I wonder if it was Goldschmidt. I don't know.
Actually, it was Goldschmidt. Now that you mentioned
it, Goldie?
Yeah, now it was Goldie because for some reason he leads off.
Yeah, well, he does against lefties. It must be a left-handed pitcher.
Yeah,
because against lefties, he's like 340 this year against lefties. Although it's been falling because he hasn't been hitting it, and none of them are hitting. I mean, none of them are hitting. It's absolutely ridiculous. Come on, Chris Sale. Come on. It wasn't on him. I mean, he didn't say, "Hey, get me out of here." Yeah, he didn't say, "Take me out."
Yeah, he said he was done.
Get out of here. He said he was done.
He threw like 119 pitches.
No, he did not. He was at 102 when he started the 9th inning. How many pitches did he throw?
No, I thought it was 119.
Well, that is a lot. I don't know if
he petitioned to go out. Like he petitioned. He's like, I know I'm at 100, but let me go out and try to finish it. And then when he walked the guy or the guy got on, he was like, okay, yeah, I'm done.
The guy got a single. There was 2 outs when a guy got a single. I mean, come on. Why would he?
Did they win?
Yes.
That's all that matters.
I know that's all that matters, but in this day and age, I mean, it's a rarity. It's like a friggin' no-hitter. A complete game and a no-hitter are about the same amount of rarity.
I would much rather Iglesias come in and get the one out and Chris Sale not tears his arm up so that he's done. And then him try to get the one out and go in. Look, all it is, it could be just one more pitch. Tired, fatigued, the way that it's going, the humidity in the night, the way the ball's coming off of his hand. Absolutely.
All right. I feel you. What a game last night between LSU and Arkansas, though. How about that?
Unless you're the right fielder, decides you want to take one off the shoulder, or a second baseman that can't make a catch in the clutch moments.
Do you think that yeah, I mean, it was a comedy of errors late, for them, but on the right fielder deal, I kind of felt for that kid, left fielder, I kind of felt for him because he kind of slips, and you know what I mean? It was like, it wasn't like he went out there and was in position and then couldn't make the catch. He literally just his feet go out from under him. And I hated that for him.
Well, I think one of two things happened. And by the way, Sale threw 116 pitches. One of the two things happened. Either he either misjudged the line drive off the bat because he went back initially, or he totally lost it in the lights. One of the two happened.
I don't think he lost it in the lights. I think
it was because it was a low line drive.
Slipped. Yeah, but I think he slipped. I think he because he goes back first. He kind of misjudged it a little bit. So he kind of takes a step back and then he's going forward. Then he's kind of going on a side. He's kind of going sideways a little bit. I think he just slips. I think that's what happened there. I'm not sure. All right. Coming up, we're going to get things started with Justin Ferguson from the Auburn Observer. He's coming up next. Joe, come on. 9 to keep the job?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Absolutely.
That's nuts. If they go from 4-8 to 8-4, or from 4-8 to 7-5, they're not firing him. Probably rolling Toomer's corners at 7-5.
Well, Auburn fans are also idiots when it comes to Hugh Freeze. So, I mean, I can understand what you're saying about that. So,
I don't know that they would blow him out. Oh, we'll see what Ferg says. All right, we'll get a break. We'll come back. Justin Ferguson is next right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games, and if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beams likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of iconic casinos, world-class shows, dining, and entertainment. Las Vegas. With flights starting as low as just $79, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Las Vegas. Book nonstop to Las Vegas now at flybreeze.com.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
But you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford's award-winning service department for the routine checkups to keep your Ford or other brand in working order. But they can also take care of bigger problems as well because they got expert service technicians down there, and they're going to quickly diagnose your problem and use state-of-the-art tools to get it resolved. They also have a great mobile service where they can come out to you. You need to check it all out. You need to make an appointment today. Do it at WoodyAndersonFord.com. That's WoodyAndersonFord.com. Yeah, welcome back. Thom Abraham Show. Could call me the breeze. Be blowing out of here after today. All right, there's been some news popping down on the plains, and after a minute or so, I feel like I got to get with Justin Ferguson from the Auburn Observer to kind of sort through some of this stuff, and he joins us now in the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Jay Ferg, welcome back. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. Have you been all right? I've kind of left you alone for a few weeks here now, and I figured you were missing me or something. I don't know. I don't know how that works out.
Yeah, it's been a little bit more laid back around here, but you know, always good to hop on with y'all.
Yeah, it is kind of laid back. Couple of things that I wanted to get to. Let's start with these stories that are floating around out there regarding Bruce Pearl potentially this being his last year. He's got an offensive and a defensive coordinator on his staff now, and he's got he's got his son, and he says his son is ready to take over, as if, is that it? We're just going to hand it off to him. And so flesh this story out for us a little bit and tell us what's going on with the basketball program.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of rumor, a lot of speculation. Obviously, Bruce Pearl is a very, very vocal about his beliefs, and how it intertwines with politics a lot. And that's, anyone who knows Bruce Pearl and Auburn basketball knows that, that's not a surprise there. As for the thing about offensive defensive coordinator, this has been a thing for a few years now. I think a couple seasons now they've had this set up where Mike Burgermaster has been the offensive coordinator, Stephen Pearl's been the defensive coordinator. When it comes to the future, I do think that whenever Bruce Pearl hangs it up, I do think as long as he is currently on the staff at Auburn, that Stephen Pearl would be someone that would get a very serious look. It would be a contender to get the job. I mean, I think Auburn obviously loves the success that they've had with Bruce Pearl, and that would be a way to keep it going. College basketball is also a sport where we've seen in recent years where big name programs have just when a legendary coach steps down and retires, they hand it off to somebody on their staff. Duke's done it well. North Carolina's done it here recently, so it wouldn't be out of place, I think, if that's the direction. But in terms of when is this going to be, is this going to be Bruce Pearl's last season? I think that's all, just rumor and speculation at this point. Bruce Pearl's a guy that I think could coach for several more years, and he's still got a lot of juice left when it comes to going out there and wanting to recruit and wanting to compete at the highest level and wanting to win championships at Auburn. So, like I said, if Bruce Pearl ever decides to hang it up, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Stephen Pearl's a top contender. But I also know that, Bruce and his staff are hard at work, with the way they rebuilt this team this season. A lot of those guys that are on the team this year have multiple seasons left. So, and they're hard at work trying to recruit for the next class as well. So it doesn't seem to me like it's imminent or anything like that. I just think it's a connection between, people seeing Bruce's, being more involved kind of politically in the discourse and all that here recently, and some speculation about that more than anything kind of concrete from a basketball perspective.
Yeah, and I mean, he's 65 years old, so he's just a little bit older than me by about 6 months, really. He just had his 65th birthday last couple of months ago. If not for politics, I mean, is that the only thing that you could see that would draw him away? Or do you think that, I mean, Kelvin Sampson's 69. We see guys, Rick Barnes is 70. Tom Izzo is 70. Do you think that the only thing that would pull him away would be that, or has he, because he doesn't seem like he's really fatigued with coaching. He still seems to bring a lot of energy, a lot of juice.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Exactly my point. I think he is a guy that still has, several years left of coaching if he wanted to go in that direction. Now, if he decides it's time to, move on with his, with his career and go in a different direction, retire, hang it up. I mean, he's been coaching for a very, very long time. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and speculate about his ambitions. If he wants to run for office, anything like that. I know that stuff has been rumored, but that just seems to kind of be rumor at this point. To me, he's a guy who's got a lot of, like you said, a lot of juice left, a lot of energy. And I think the way he succeeded this past season with Auburn, the way they quickly, and I think did a great job of reloading this roster, getting Tahad Pettiford back as well. Like, I think that's the sign of a coach that still wants to kind of dig in here and be here for a while.
Yeah. Justin Ferguson with us here talking some Auburn. All right, so let's shift our attention. Baseball, of course. Now we've got LSU and Coastal Carolina after that crazy game last night. LSU moves on to play Coastal. They're a slight favorite in that for the national championship, but with the new House decision that has come down, beginning here in just a couple of weeks, that this money is going to get whacked up. The $20.5 million will get whacked up predominantly amongst football and basketball. That's the way Alabama's doing it. That's the way Auburn's going to do it. That's the way most of the country's going to do it. They're going to give the money to the revenue-producing sports, which leaves baseball out. However, they can offer scholarships. They're not now stuck with this 11.7 scholarships. But try to explain if you know. So there are a lot of places they're going to scholarship all 34 players on a baseball team. Some schools are saying we're going to scholarship 25. So now guys are leaving certain schools to go to a place where they can scholarship 34. What is the tie? Because I don't understand this. Maybe you do. what is the tie between the state of Alabama not having a lottery and being able to scholarship in-state kids? I don't know if I understand that thing. So explain that to us.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, so in the past, like you said, 11.7 scholarships you get in baseball, and that's how many you get, and you have to kind of divide it up. What schools and states with lotteries had done in the past, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, others, Tennessee, what they could do is they could get their in-state kids on these scholarships from the state. Georgia having the Hope Scholarship and saying, if you're already getting your school paid for, if not all, most of it through the state, we don't have to give you one of these 11.7 scholarships. We can focus that on the kids that are out of state or are bigger recruits in there. And so what that has done in the past is given those states who have a lottery kind of an advantage in recruiting over these schools that don't have in-state lottery, like Alabama, of course. And so what's going to happen now if they choose to do so, and I believe Auburn will, and I would be surprised if Alabama didn't go in this direction either, is that now baseball can be a fully scholarship sport. And so now they don't have to worry about having to play math with the 11.7 and kind of work their magic there. They're going to feel like they're going to be on a more even playing field, because now if it's a full scholarship sport for everybody, it doesn't matter if your state has a lottery or not. You can fully fund it if you want to. And I think Auburn.
So it helps them more than hurts. It's going to help them more than hurt them. I thought they were saying that it would hurt them because they couldn't do, financially without that money from the state. They wouldn't necessarily want to fund all 34 scholarships. I mean, it's a spot in a room, but it is, there is obviously value to it.
Exactly. And Auburn has said that they're going to add, John Cohen said they're going to add over I think it's more than 100 new scholarships are going to be brought in to Auburn. And I would expect baseball to be one of those sports that they get to max out. And we will see what they do, for Title IX and all that to balance it out on the other end. But with the success Auburn baseball just had, the fact that John Cohen's got his background in baseball, the amount of money Auburn invested in, renovating Plainsman Park, and getting the facilities up to where it is, I would be stunned if, it's not a fully funded sport. So what happens now for Auburn and Alabama, if they choose to go in that direction, is now they don't have to worry about other schools being able to kind of have more scholarships to play with, so to speak.
Yeah.
Instead, it's going to be a more even playing field. And I think that's coming at a great time for a place like Auburn where, they had this big bounce back season. They want to continue to be contenders in the SEC when it comes to baseball.
Now it all makes sense because, I live across the border in the state of Tennessee, and my son was a baseball player, and 9 years ago when he was coming out of high school, they were encouraging him, take your Tennessee Promise scholarship, go play for 2 years under your Tennessee Promise scholarship. And because he wanted to go to Middle Tennessee, and they're like, no, go to Motlow, take your Tennessee Promise, and then we don't have to burn up any scholarship money on you, and then you can come in. All right. So this should be a good thing. This should be a good thing for schools in the state of Alabama, at least. All right, that's good. And have they outlined yet specifically, like some of the other schools have started to outline what they're going to do percentage wise? Is it 75% to the football team and 15% to men's basketball, 5% to women? Have they laid any of those numbers out yet?
They haven't laid it out officially, but that is kind of the word, is that Auburn is going to fall in line. I think that 75, 15, 5, and 5 is one that we've seen Georgia talk about. I believe a couple other SEC schools have done it. And the expectation is that Auburn is going to, fall in line with whatever's going elsewhere. Like if schools are spending 75% of their money on football, Auburn's going to spend 75% on football. That's going to be kind of the way they go. So I think, Georgia came out, I believe, and said, hey, this is what we're looking at with the percentages. From what I've heard, Auburn is kind of falling along the same lines as these other SEC schools. And so that 75, 15, 5, and 5 has been the model that has been talked about the most. Nothing official yet, but that's where I would expect Auburn to go.
Yeah, and that last 5, when they were talking about 5 to everything else, it's really not everything else. It'd be interesting because what Greg Burns said yesterday regarding Alabama, he said that last little bit, that last 5 or whatever, to be distributed amongst the ticketed sports. So that's not gymnastics, that's not lacrosse, that's not whatever else they got going on. Not track and field, the ticketed sports, which is just softball, baseball, and women's basketball. And so it sounded like with them that their model was going to be football, men's basketball, and then whatever percentage is left over, women's basketball and the baseball, a little bit towards baseball and softball, ticketed sports, which leaves a lot of other sports not getting any of this, any of that money, which, again, there's already numerous Title IX lawsuits that have been filed. I don't know how they're getting around that.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because Title IX stipulates you have to have the same amount of opportunities, right, scholarship-wise. It doesn't say you have to spend the exact same amount of money on those programs evenly, basketball, men's and women's. Otherwise, football wouldn't have the budgets that they did. It is interesting. I mean, I find it very interesting that Alabama's come out and said that. The word I had heard with Auburn is that they kind of just want to be flexible with that 5% and know that it might have to change from time to time. And I think, gymnastics is something that Auburn, as well as Alabama, has prioritized in the past. Auburn's had some really, really good gymnasts come around. What do they do to keep them to stay? Jackson Coyven, Auburn men's golfer, just won back-to-back SEC championships, back-to-back SEC Players of the Year. First guy to do that in 40-plus years. He was at the U.S. Open last weekend. He said he's planning on coming back for one more season at Auburn before he turns pro. He's already got his tour card already set. I would expect that to cost some sort of money in terms of NIL to be able to bring a talent like that back. So I think, Auburn's approach right now, from what I heard, is that, it's going to be more of a flexible, we'll see what needs what where, and not necessarily be as rigid with that. But it's going to be fascinating to see what they end up doing, because there's going to be a lot of pieces of the pie there that, that 5% could get sorted out pretty quickly, because Auburn's got a handful of sports that are non-revenue sports that they are really good at and want to continue to be really good at. Their track team just finished, fourth at nationals, won a couple of national championships in individual events. Like, there are several sports that I think are going to want to continue to stay competitive with that, knowing that there's going to be some other schools that might use some of that 5% or so to, those non-revenue sports that we don't think about as much.
Yeah, it's a great point. Justin Ferguson with us here. All right, finally, on the football front, I don't know if this was a tongue-in-cheek piece or what, but your colleague over at AL.com, Joe Goodman, wrote a piece about the conspiracy theory that possibly Hugh Freeze was slow playing it, if you will, or maybe sandbagging it a little bit for the first couple of years, setting the bar low so that by the time he got all his guys in there, that he would have a better opportunity to gain favor with the fans. It's an interesting theory. I don't know that they went ahead and bagged last season and just, we'll go 4-8 so that if we can go 7-5, they'll throw me a parade. Yeah, I don't know if that was exactly the way they were thinking.
No, because I know what Hugh Freeze has said about this past season, which was, hey, we're not where we want to be talent-wise yet to compete for a championship. We need to recruit more. However, we went 5-7, and there were several of those games that Auburn should have won. I mean, there's 3 right off the bat where you could say, like, okay, if Auburn plays better in the fourth quarter, they win all of those games. Yeah. I mean, this was a team that I think had talent. Their talent's increasing. They just shot themselves in the foot a ton, did not execute in those key spots last season. And it wasn't just like, they weren't quite ready yet, or they didn't have the talent to beat those teams. I mean, the fact of the matter is they lost to Cal, Arkansas, and Vandy at home. They beat all of those teams on the road a year before. So, this is a program that did take a step backwards last season on the field, but it's not really because of, they weren't ready. They should have taken a step forward and they didn't. So puts a lot of pressure on this season. They've got to get better, and they've got to, cash in on the fact that they are recruiting really well and working the transfer portal well. It's got to turn out to matter this season, and that's why this season is going to be a huge one for Hugh Freeze.
So my boy Joe Hunk, who is a certified Hugh Freeze hater, he indicated earlier this morning on his show in Huntsville that he felt like Hugh Freeze had to go 9-3 to save his job. I'm of the opinion that he goes 7-5, he saves the job. He goes 8-4, they roll Toomer's corner And if they go 9-3, they throw him a parade. That's what I think. I don't think he needs 9-3 to save the gig. If there was a number in your mind, regardless of, a good loss, bad loss, I mean, obviously 6-6 would have win over Alabama is one thing, when 6-6 losing to everybody is another thing. But is there a number in your mind that would push them to go to the next, the next step?
Yeah, I think 8 is. I would be surprised if Auburn didn't moved away from Hugh Freeze if they went 8-4. There was a mailbag question I got today where somebody laid out, hey, what happens if Auburn goes 7-5, but the 5 losses are all basically the 5 really good teams they play this season? I'm like, I don't think people would be very excited about that. I think that would be a tough spot to be in. So I feel comfortable with 8. I think if Auburn wins 8 games this season, you're looking at more than likely, beating a couple of really good teams away from home, or, potentially knocking off a Georgia or Alabama if you get to 8. So that seems to be the level that I think, okay, if they get to 8 wins in the regular season, that is a step forward. And I think that's a sign that they could continue to kind of push forward. Could they go 9-3? Sure, if they got hot. But I think that's a little too on the high side of expectations.
Right, but he doesn't need 9-3, 8-4.
I don't think so.
I think 7-5 they keep him.
Yeah, this is a team. The Vegas lines got them at 7.5 wins. I think projections like SV Plus, FBI have them around 7 or 8 wins this season. So I think that's kind of more of where the name is now. If they go 8-4 and it's a not good looking 8-4, people will still be frustrated. But I do think 8 wins would be pretty comfortable for them.
Justin Ferguson has been our guest. Ferg, I appreciate you, and I'll leave you alone for another couple of weeks. We will see you in Atlanta anyway in a not too distant future, about 3 weeks away.
Absolutely. I'll see you all there.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Joe, I have never seen a rain delay that basically took one commercial break before in my life. They went to the end of the inning and brought the tarp out in New York with the Angels and the Yankees, brought the tarp out, went to commercial break. When they came back from commercial break, it was brilliant sunshine. And the only thing that prevented them from playing immediately after the commercial break was the time it took to put the tarp away. I don't even know if they covered the field with the tarp. They rolled it out. Did they ever even get it on the field?
No, what they did is it almost looked like it was all one motion. Like they started putting it on the field, and as they went, and then they just continued to then take it right off the field. They did a time lapse just a few moments ago, and it's almost what it looked like. Hey, they put the tarp on, and then the very moment that they got it in place, they started pulling it right off again. It was the most outlandish thing that you've ever seen.
It was an 8-minute rain delay. I've never in my life seen an 8-minute rain delay, and that's what it was. What are you watching it on? Are you watching it on the Angels feed, the Yes feed? Is it on MLB Network?
It's on MLB Network, which is giving me the Yes feed.
Okay, so I got my boy Michael K. On it. I just have it over here on it. All right. We will come back. This conspiracy theory by Joseph Goodman actually has one thing that is, I'm not tinfoil hat guy, but I do wonder about one aspect of Joseph Goodman's conspiracy theory, and I'll explain that next right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Braves blanked the Mets 5-0 yesterday. Spencer Strider on the hill today for Atlanta. $1.37 favorite against Clay Holmes of the Mets plus 112, 8.5 under the total. College World Series Championship Series Game 1 Saturday. LSU laying $1.75 against the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers plus 135. NASCAR this week at Pocono for the Cup race Sunday. Danny Hamlin plus 450. Xfinity race Saturday. Justin Allgaier plus 280. And Corey Heim plus 110 when the Truck Series race at Pocono on Friday. NBA Finals Game 6 tonight. Oklahoma City laying 6 against Indiana at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Thom Abraham here for Valley Equipment Rental. You know, if you're a contractor installing fences, you need Valley Equipment Rental for augers of all sizes. And if you need a forklift to get those shingles up high on a roof, Valley Equipment has 10K lifts that reach to 56 feet. Valley also has tow-behind lifts that have a working height of 35 to 55 feet as well for power washing those two-story homes or doing whatever else you need to do. Lifts, forklifts, tow-behind lifts, 35 feet and up. They have your lift at Valley Equipment Rental. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed the musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beams likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Your Fox 54 weather, brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures climbing into the mid-80s, dropping into the mid-upper 60s as we head into the overnight. A mostly sunny sky for your Friday. It looks like we're probably going to stay dry. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. It is going to feel like it's in the mid and upper 90s. That heat continues as we head into the weekend.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Your Home Window, because you know when it comes to replacement windows or exterior doors or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, and Hartselle. And right now they've got the 4th of July sale going on. Now it's already going on through the end of July. You get 40% off on all windows and 45% off on all doors. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today. Boy, did I have a good time during that commercial break. Trent Grisham with a 2-run bomb, followed up by Paul Goldschmidt with a bomb, and the Yankees take the lead 4-2. Joe, I don't know if you caught Trent Grisham's bat flip here. They showed the way they didn't show it there at the end. His bat flip is epic. You know, we talked about bat flips before and then having some style in baseball. He is so cool. So when Trent Grisham rakes, he never top hand off the bat. He swings and he keeps both hands on the bat the whole time. But when he rakes, he flips the bat in his hand. So the handle, goes from holding the handle to holding the barrel. So he just kind of flips the bat in, and he's got it by the barrel. And then when he's got it by the barrel, he just kind of tosses it aside. He kind of flings it like a Frisbee towards the bench aside. That's one of the coolest bat flips ever.
I think you're seeing that through Yankee color glasses, but yeah.
Oh, it's a cool bat flip. And then he's got a pair of like Ray-Ban, driving sunglasses on. Dude looks like he's about 53 years old. You know what I mean? Trent Grisham. Looks like he walked right off the set of the Red Fox show or something. Classic. All right. Hour number 1's in the hopper. Kicking off hour number 2 with Beau Estes, NBA TV, NBA.com. Thunder and Pacers tonight. Does it end? We'll talk to him next on the Thom Abraham Show.
All good things must come to an end. That holds true for employee pricing, too. Hey, folks, it's Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. The last day for employee pricing is going to be July 7th. Up until then, you can buy the new Ford you want and pay what we pay. We've got nearly 150 F-150s to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Had your eye on a Bronco Sport? It's employee priced, and we've got over 60 to choose from. Full-size Bronco, we've got over 40. New shipments of Explorer, Expedition, and Escape have just hit the ground, too. Again, all things must come to an end, and the last day for employee pricing is July 7th. Time to hit it and get it. Employee pricing can save you up to thousands off MSRP. With over 600 Fords to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find exactly what you need. Woody Anderson Ford. It's important to see us before July 7th.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our workforce special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. But hurry, this offer is only good through June 30th. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor. We're here for you.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Sports Center. I'm Christine Lisi. The Larry O'Brien Trophy will be in the house tonight in Indiana. Thunder will look to get its NBA Championship Series clinching victory in Game 6 of the Finals against the Pacers and claim that trophy. 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio, 8:30 Eastern on ABC. With a win tonight, OKC would become just the third NBA team to win 84 games in a season, including the playoffs, and win a title. Indiana star Tyrese Halliburton a game-time decision with a strained right calf. Former Rutgers guard Ace Bailey, the number 3 prospect on ESPN's Big Board, has canceled tomorrow's visit to the 76ers. Philly, though, hasn't ruled out taking him third overall in next week's NBA draft despite the canceled visit. He's the only U.S.-based prospect yet to visit any NBA teams. On his 33rd birthday, five-time Pro Bowl linebacker C.J. Mosley announced he's retired from the NFL after 10 seasons.
You need to be more like a dog. Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you. So settle in and get your bark on. Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
You know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elmer Pearson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my. I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. Glad that you are with us today. If you missed it, today will be our last show of the week. We do not have a show tomorrow. As we said earlier in the show, you probably heard it earlier this week, or maybe saw it on Facebook, or heard it somewhere, that our fearless leader, Wes Neighbors, lost his mother this week. And the service and celebration of life is tomorrow during my show. And so the whole station will be down there. We'll all be down there to support our brother. And so we will not be doing the show tomorrow. So we're kind of jamming everything that we would do between yesterday or between today and tomorrow into today. So that's where we are at now. Tonight it is game 6 in the NBA finals, and we'll see whether or not it takes the same path as the NHL final did and ends in 6. This time it wouldn't be a celebration on home court or home ice. It would be a celebration for OKC in Indianapolis if they can get it done. And joining us to talk about that and other things regarding the NBA is Beau Estes, NBA TV, NBA.com, and he is on the Neighbors Wealth Management hotline. Beau, welcome in. How are you?
Good, buddy. Thinking the same thing as you. I saw what happened in the NHL, and, I wouldn't be shocked if OKC pulled that off tonight in the NBA.
Yeah, the only difference is they won't be celebrating it with their fans. They would be celebrating it with Pacer fans who, by the way, I mean, Indiana, basketball is life in Indiana. I would think that the response, this was an out of nowhere season for the Pacers, or playoff for the Pacers, and OKC, was the prohibitive favorite all the way through. I think that it would be a pretty classy reaction by the Indiana fans if this ends tonight.
I hope so. The NBA is a tough business. I think about your New York Knicks, who made it perhaps farther than a lot of people thought when the playoffs started, get all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. They lose to this Pacers team who's put on a great performance, and they dump their coach. So I imagine that Pacers fans will be pretty darn happy. I think what is true in the NBA so often is that the healthiest team wins. And everybody knows what happened with Tyrese Halliburton with the calf injury. He just couldn't really go in Game 5. That put the Pacers behind the 8 ball. And, tonight, what does he have? If you're a Pacers fan, you hope it's a lot, but it's tough to imagine bouncing that quickly back after an injury that hampers you that much.
Well, what he needs to do is he needs to let the team go out there. They go out for warm-ups. The game starts, and then he comes hobbling out of the locker room so everybody could see him. You know exactly where I'm going. He goes all Willis Reed coming out late. The dirty little secret about that whole thing, I think Reed had like 4 points in that game. Everybody's like, Willis Reed came out injured on one leg and led the Knicks to the world championship. No, he didn't. He came out, he didn't play very many minutes, and he had 4 points in the game. But it was inspirational. This is a little bit of a different thing with Halliburton. And, Could he fill a different role? I mean, with the type of injury that he has, could he just be a catch and shoot guy? I mean, he's got such a great shot. I mean, you don't have to have him, running the whole offense through him. He doesn't have to be bringing the ball up and everything. You wonder whether or not he's a guy that you could at least get quality minutes, from behind the 3-point line with him, where he can catch and shoot and be okay. Not ideal, but contribute something.
Well, and I think that's the thing, is he did other things in game 5. He was a decent rebounds guy. He was a decent assist guy. He didn't make a field goal. He didn't make a single field goal. So that's completely unlike Tyrese Halliburton. He can usually get to the hole. Right. He can usually create that ability to get there to create an advantage for his outside shot. So it wasn't happening for him. The thing that you can say is that Pascal Siakam really did pick the team up on his shoulders and had a fantastic game for him. But no other Pacer starter had even double-digit shot attempts in that game. So nobody else realized what was going on and really went at it. They had a great game off the bench from TJ McConnell. He was incredible. 14 shot attempts, 18 points. You can't really expect that from him game after game. So somebody else, an Aaron Nesmith, and Andrew Nembhard, Miles Turner, has to step up and go big tonight. I think for the Pacers to stay in this, and I they've done it. You've seen it as a Knicks fan. You've seen these guys do it. Now, once again, they have to dig deep and find a way to get this to game 7, and then you throw your chips on the table and hope.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Beau Estes with us here, talking a little bit about the NBA. The thing is, too, the NBA has a history of streaky champions, where we've seen, teams go out there and win 2-3 in a row. We saw it, obviously with the Celtics in the 60s, but, the Bulls were doing that in the 90s. The Detroit Pistons did it, and the Lakers did it again in the 2000s and so on. You kind of get the feeling, Miami Heat won back-to-back with LeBron. You get the feeling that this OKC team, I mean, who's leaving? What's stopping them? If they win this one, what's stopping them from opening the season as the favorite to win again next year?
Oh, I think even if they lost this finals, if Indiana came back and won, I think OKC is the heavy favorite next year. I think they are so loaded in terms of young talent, in terms of assets that they can move to acquire more talent, that they are the future of the league. Remember, we haven't had a three-peat since the Lakers did it in the early 2000s. So that's sort of the standard that really separates for me. If you get 3 in a row, and this OKC team is a team that could do that. One of the things I've been looking at is that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams are putting together a series that's sort of reminiscent of what LeBron and Caray put together in 2016. In 2016, those guys combined for 57, 58 points per game in that final series. That's exactly what Jalen Williams and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are doing in this series. But the rest of the Thunder are better than the rest of those Cavaliers. So they've got Chet Holmgren, who's really good now, only going to get better. They've got guys off the bench that can just hit you. Caruso, Wiggins, Wallace. I mean, they have a load of talent, and they're young, and you can afford this talent, and they have draft assets too. So OKC is really in a great position, and I don't know who can stop the freight train once they get rolling.
Yeah, well, I think in the last one they had like 70 points or 71 points or something combined with those two guys. I mean, that's how good they were. And it's funny. History will kind of tell us how close we were to 4 in a row from Golden State. I mean, they had the Cavaliers beat that year in 2016, and they get that one, up 3-1 in that series, and they get that one. I mean, 4 in a row, and I don't know that we'll see something like that. I think a three-peat would be really difficult, even as loaded as OKC is. But 4 in a row, just 10 years ago, I mean, forget about it.
The only thing I would say about that is that if Golden State beats Cleveland in that 2016 series, I don't think Kevin Durant goes there. So I think then you have the challenge of trying to win those championships without Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant really, look, he was the Finals MVP in those 2 series wins that they had. So I think that becomes a real challenge. So they could have won it the three-peat had Durant and Klay Thompson not gotten hurt against the Toronto Raptors. I think they could have pulled that off and maybe would have pulled that off. But that's the crucible that is trying to go through all those championships and win it 3 times in a row. Everything has to line up for you, which makes what the Lakers did in the early 2000s and even more particularly what the Bulls did in the 90s more impressive. The fact that they won it twice, 3-peats.
Yeah, what was it just a couple of weeks ago that the Michael Jordan's old agent, right, said that if Jordan had run around chasing championships the way Kevin Durant and some of the other guys have, he'd won 15 NBA championships if he had done that. You know, I think that's one of the cool things, you know, about Steph Curry and a few of the guys that haven't moved around. I didn't think that is a dividing line. Even, you know, Shaq jumped around, and of course Lou Alcindor became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then he had won one though in Milwaukee, and then he goes and wins some and you know, with the but I think the difference with a Larry Bird, with a Magic Johnson, with a Michael Jordan, and I'm going to put Steph in that category in terms of that,
Bryant.
a guy that's Kobe Bryant that's going to play the entire career, you know, in one place, basically, regardless of the fact that, you know, Mike came back for a cup of coffee with Washington at the end of his career. But still, you know what I mean? I think that's the thing that when history is dividing these guys will be a dividing factor, you know, that they didn't run around chasing championships. They were the people that people, you know, they were the guys that people went to.
Well, yeah, and you particularly think about LeBron, who obviously has done that. You know, Cavaliers, Heat, Cavaliers, Lakers, and then he has his podcast now with Steve Nash, and he talks about, I don't understand why people are so focused on, you know, chasing championships and rings and everything like that. It seems like a retroactive argument, you know, that he's trying to create for the fact that he hasn't won more championships. 4 is incredible, first of all, so no discredit to him. But, you know, you can see what narrative he's trying to manufacture with that commentary there, because he did chase the championships and it worked out to a degree, but he's always chasing, as he said, that ghost in Chicago. And he knows he's coming up short. He knows it. And so, you know, you can argue he's the greatest player of all time. You really can. But he's trying to cement that argument with that little narrative right there.
Yeah, you go argue that with somebody else. You're not going to argue that here, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, the only pure one for me when he went back to Cleveland, you know, he was so the alpha there. I mean, so that was it. So that, to me, that's the pure one. And I think they would have gotten there if he'd have stayed there. I don't think he had to go to Miami, you know, to get one. I think that they would have eventually gotten one if he had stayed there. But, you know, but it is what it is. It is history. Also, history will be the Buss's ownership of the Lakers. And I ran some numbers on this. This is phenomenal. So Jerry Buss paid $67 million for the Lakers in 79. He also got the fabulous forum, and they threw in the LA Kings. They're like, here, take the hockey team too, will you? I mean, he got the hockey team with it. So 10 years later, he sold the hockey team to Bruce McNall for $40 million. So his all-in price, you know, like you're renovating a house, his all-in price was $27 million for the Lakers. And his daughter sells them now for $10 billion, which is 347 times what they were when Daddy bought them in 79. So, and it's not like, oh, inflation. No, forget about that. That 27 million would be like 111 million now. I mean, it wouldn't be anywhere near $10 billion.
No.
I mean, that is an amazing, amazing number. Forbes had them rated at $7 million. They had the Cowboys at $10 million. I'll argue that the Cowboys must now be worth $15 billion if the Lakers are worth $10 billion. But what a story that whole thing is. And she's going to stay on in some capacity, I guess.
She's staying on as governor, which is incredible to me. Again, I'll wait and see how long that lasts, because once somebody takes majority ownership, then you have control to do X, Y, and Z, and you can do whatever you want. But for now, she's staying on as governor. The incredible thing to me is they got those Buss kids to agree on something. That's wild to me. But what it tells you is sort of family ownership in this era is very difficult, because across town, the LA Clippers have, and it's by a long way, the wealthiest owner in American sports, in Steve Ballmer. There's nobody close. There's nobody in the room with Steve Ballmer. So the Lakers cannot afford to keep up in terms of personal assets with what Steve Ballmer can do. And so now you bring on a guy like Mark Walter, who's the CEO of Guggenheim Partners. He's got the money to at least stay in the room. He's not close to as wealthy as Ballmer, but the Lakers can at least, have a similar asset profile to run an NBA team as far as that goes. I think, their run, that family run, the Buss run, is pretty incredible, but so much of it is Dr. Jerry Buss. He is the guy that everybody loves in this town where I live, Los Angeles. He's the guy that set the stage for all of this. It was difficult for the Buss kids to get along, but boy, Jeannie deserves a lot of credit because she took the reins and really was the most competent of those kids to run this team in a direction that could capture more championships and bring in talent like LeBron. Jerry West deserves a lot of credit while he was here, and it didn't end well with them. But, this Buss ownership is going to be historical in this town. And I just think, like I said, I think the era of family ownership of major American sports teams is in trouble because you just can't afford to play ball with some of the big guys that are running things now.
Does Magic have a piece of the Lakers? I mean, I know he has a piece of the Dodgers. For some reason, I thought he owned a chunk of the Lakers, too. Is he involved in the ownership group there?
What I would say is maybe going forward. I don't think he did. I think he was out.
You don't think he did?
I think he may be back in now. So because it's a similar group that runs the Dodgers. I think it's Guggenheim Partners and an associated group has the Dodgers. And Walter, you were digging in to see if it's him personally or if it's that group, that consortium that's purchasing the Lakers. But that may bring Magic more back into the fold, which would be interesting because he's an icon here in town, just like Kobe, and to LeBron now, for sure, LeBron now.
Yeah. Beau Estes has been our guest. By the way, Beau used to cover NASCAR for TNT, and that's where we first met years and years ago. I got a kick out of this. I was just looking at this, Beau, while we were talking. One of the sites, one of the NASCAR sites coming off of the race in Mexico, it has a story here, and I was like, what? The headline of the story is NASCAR looks abroad again! !
Oh, no.
And I'm reading, so I'm like, oh God, where are they going now? So I'm reading the story, and it's about the proposed street race in San Diego. I'm like, really? I mean, San Diego. I know it's different out there. I know it's a little different out there for a lot of people when they think about California, but San Diego, NASCAR looks abroad again, and they're talking about a street race in San Diego, which I don't know about that.
I will.
Maybe they're going to race over there.
Racing in NASCAR racing in California, in my experience, is I was going to every race, as you know, Tom, for a couple of years. So I was going to the major races, and I would do live studio shows for major races, and you don't see executives. All of a sudden, we go to Sonoma, and everybody in the company shows up for the Sonoma race. It was incredible how that became a destination for those people to entertain and wine and dine up in Sonoma. I can imagine San Diego being a similar treat.
Maybe they'll race across that Coronado Bridge. My sphincter tightens up when I look at that bridge when I go see my daughter and her husband. I don't want to know anything about the Coronado Bridge going out there. I was debating with some fans about road course. I grew up by Watkins Glen, and I just don't like road courses for NASCAR. It's just there's no passing. It's we just Van Gissenberg, a European guy, leads 60 laps. That's not my NASCAR. My NASCAR is at North Schoolsboro and Bristol and Talladega and guys that I can say their names, winning the races. That's my NASCAR. But so we were debating road courses. I did say that I missed Riverside. Is that what it was called? It was Riverside, right? That was my favorite road course because it was out like in a desert or something. They would drive through the dirt. I'm thinking that old number 3 Dale Earnhardt Wrangler car driving through the dirt, and cutting the corners off that way and stuff like that.
Classic, right?
That's classic road course.
Road courses aren't as entertaining because passing doesn't happen. Also, it's tough to keep track because you got all the cameras cutting, and where are they? Where are they in relation to each other? And I don't care how much you have the telemetry or whatever it is now on the screen. I need to know where you are in relation to the leader, in relation to, a points lead, all that stuff. And when I'm watching NASCAR, you can see it on an oval. If they're up, on a road course, I have no idea. I get lost, and I did the sport.
Yeah, and it could splay out to 2, 3, 4 wide. You get those moments, door handle to door handle. Somebody's got to get. You don't have any of that on the road courses. I mean, you're lucky to get some 2 wide every once in a while. So difficult to pass. 2.5 mile road course, and there's 500 feet where you can get wide enough to pass somebody. It's not, that's fine for F1. Leave it to them. They do too much of it on open wheel. Even I wish IndyCar went back to when they had 9. Ovals and 9 road courses. And now it's, they got 3 or 4 races on ovals. That's it for IndyCar. But I just don't think this is smart for NASCAR. I mean, I don't. Yeah. I think it's
tough. I'll leave you with this story. There is a NASCAR and NBA connection. Don Vaden, the former head of NBA officials, is now a spotter in his retirement for NASCAR teams, and he absolutely loves it. He says he feels so much pressure because he's in that driver's ear. And he's talking to him, and it's a wild ride. But a former NBA official is a spotter in NASCAR now. It's an incredible story.
I want to see him back at the fairgrounds in Nashville. We're on in Nashville, and I've seen races down there in the fairgrounds. It's the same exact track basically as Bristol, without 160,000 seats. But it's they got this great drawing and this great plan, and it was so close to it being. Can you imagine one of them weekends where they could race? They could race out at the Nashville Super Speedway in Lebanon on Saturday and then turn around on Sunday and race at the Nashville Fairgrounds. What a cool deal that would be. It's one of them kind of deals, So anyway,
I always thought NASCAR would do that. Dial in the heart of the sport, where the real fans come from, and really, really focus on that, make that bigger, make that more. I thought that was their success, rather than, trying to do a race in Antarctica or something like that. I just think that if they go back to where their roots are, they'll have more success.
Yeah, streets of Chicago. It's a cool visual for a minute, but then I'm over it. All right, give me some real racing. I'm past that. All right, man. Appreciate you as always. Great stuff, Beau Estes has been our guest. Thanks, Beau.
Take care, Tom.
All right, we'll get a break. When we come back, let's talk a little baseball. Chris Sale last night, 8 2/3, almost had the complete game shut out for the first time since 2019. And other news that are going around baseball, including a great final that we're going to have in the College World Series, best of 3 starting on Saturday. LSU and Coastal Carolina will get it on there as well. And Rafael Devers, Red Sox fan, just cover your ears. Rafael Devers is in San Francisco taking grounders at first and says, I'll play wherever they want me to play. I feel like that. He didn't say it that way because he said it in Spanish. He had to say it through an interpreter. How does that make you feel, Joe? How does that make you feel that Rafael Devers is now telling people in San Francisco and fans in San Francisco, I'll play wherever they want me to play? And he's out there taking grounders at first base after he, after he did what he did to the Red Sox, who gave him the $300 million contract.
I mean, he was basically now saying that the only reason he didn't do it is because he didn't like upper management.
Yeah. Basically, that's exactly it. So anyway, all right, we'll get a break. We will come back with more right after this. So the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Braves blanked the Mets 5-0 yesterday. Spencer Strider on the hill today for Atlanta. $1.37 favorite against Clay Holmes of the Mets plus 112. 8.5 under the total. College World Series Championship Series Game 1 Saturday. LSU laying $1.75 against the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers plus 135. NASCAR this week at Pocono for the Cup race Sunday. Danny Hamlin plus 450. Xfinity race Saturday. Justin Allgaier plus 280. And Corey Heim plus 110 when the Truck Series race at Pocono on Friday. NBA Finals Game 6 tonight. Oklahoma City laying 6 against Indiana at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com. The new Cheeseburger Bobby's on Carl T. Jones Drive in South Huntsville is focused on serving great food prepared with the absolute freshest ingredients, featuring classic hamburgers and cheeseburgers with lots of specialty options, chicken and hot dogs, even turkey burgers and veggie burgers, along with fresh cut fries, onion rings, or coleslaw. Always fresh, never frozen, except for the frozen custard. See all the delicious options at Cheeseburger Bobby's for yourself. Check out the menu and more at cheeseburgerbobbies.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Owen Home Appliance Center. You know, it's kind of hot outside, so you might want to cool down with an upright or chest freezer, which are in stock at Owen Home Appliance Center right now. And don't let those beverages get hot. Get yourself an under-counter ice machine. You can get a built-in pump for just $12.99. Or maybe you need a fridge out by the pool or in the garage to keep those drinks cold. You can get a scratch and dent 18-cubic-foot refrigerator for just $349 while supplies last. Go to owenappliance.com to learn more.
We're talking baseball. Blazewski, Campanella talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
Time to talk a little bit of baseball.
Well, Casey was winning.
And we do it with Josh Caray of the Caray Broadcasting family. He is the voice of the Rocket City Trash Pan. They got about a game and a half to play today because they're going to pick up the game from yesterday that got suspended after 3 innings. And Josh joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline just a couple of hours before he goes back on the air. Of course, you hear all of that action, those of you listening in the Huntsville area. You'll hear all of that action on Talk Radio WZZN. And those of you that are listening in other parts, you can pick up the game. If you want to listen to the game, you can pick it up online as well on the Talk Radio WZZN app. Josh, welcome in. How are you?
Tired, wet, but we're gonna be busy. It's gonna be a good busy. We're gonna have 6 games over the next 4 days to wrap up the first half, and a chance here for the Trash Pandas to play spoiler. Chattanooga is going for a first half title, so we're gonna see if we can knock them from their perch and try to ride into the second half with some momentum.
It's interesting. You talk about, of course, you guys were postponed last night, and we've got the Yankees and the Angels on in the studios. The Angels are trying to complete a 4-game sweep of the Yankees in New York. They had a rain delay. It was 8 minutes. They went to commercial break. The only reason the rain delay wasn't 4 minutes was because they had started to unroll the tarp. It was pouring rain. Then all of a sudden the sunshine came out. They started to unroll the tarp, and they immediately rolled it back up. They didn't even get it over the infield, and it would have been a 3 or 4 minute rain delay if it wasn't for they had to get the tarp back off of the roll the tarp back off of the field. So that's what you needed. You need to have like an 8 minute rain delay. That would be nice.
Oh, well, we've been close a couple of times. Actually, on Tuesday, we did the exact opposite. We had a 1 hour rain delay, and we didn't even tarp the field. We kept waiting for this system from the west to come in. And it just never did, and we wound up sitting there.
Oh, I hate
no
when
reason.
they do that.
Yeah, it's one
Why
of
did
those.
they do? Why not start? Why don't they just get the game going and then worry about it? What you can't.
You know what the problem is with the minor league level is that everyone is so careful with their pitchers. If you put a guy out there and he starts and he goes, let's say, an inning, 2 innings, whatever, and then the rain comes, he's done for the day. They're just not going to have him get warmed up, throw a couple of innings, and then sit for 2 hours and then start the game again. I don't agree with it, but it's been that way for a long, long time. Everyone's trying to protect their pitchers. They don't want them overexerting themselves. And unfortunately, that makes the decision a lot harder for guys like our general manager who, they want to start the game, but they also want to be mindful of, helping out the parent club and making sure that we don't step on their toes either. It's not ideal for anyone, but it's kind of the way it's been for the last couple of decades.
Yeah, you and I are both traditionalists, and we really don't like the split season deal. But boy, this year, can't wait for the second half to start and hit the reset button. And it wouldn't be unprecedented. It's been a really tough first half of the season for the Trash Pandas. It would not be unprecedented for a team like that to turn around and have a really solid second half of the season. It can happen, that's for sure.
Oh, it can, and I think these guys are capable of doing it. There were 10 roster moves made before Tuesday's ball game, and I think overall this is now a stronger ball club than it was at this time last season. And leading up until this week, the team had been playing really good baseball against some quality competition. They split a series against a very good Birmingham team. They took 4 of 6 from Biloxi, who's probably going to win their division for the first half. They should have won last week's series against Pensacola, wound up with a split there. So they played a little above 500 the last few weeks. And you just want them to continue that momentum, but also doing it against the ball club in Chattanooga that's trying to get into the playoffs. You can play spoiler. It's what I tell people is it's September baseball in June. And these are the things that really help develop players because, you look for significance in regular season minor league games in the month of June. This is how you do it. And these are the types of games that can really help guys develop over the long term, playing in big game situations like this.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And what's fascinating about the organization right now with the Angels, Trash Pandas with a tough first half. The Salt Lake team, right, in the International League, they have almost the identical win-loss percentage as the Trash Pandas have, in the Pacific Coast League, not the International League. In the Pacific Coast League, almost identical. High A is doing a little bit better, but they're under 500. The A team, they're struggling as well. And yet the big club, if they could come back and beat the Yankees today, are about to get the 500 in an AL West that would pull them within 6 games of the lead in the AL West. So the big club with all these young guys is doing well, and it's the minors are hurting a little bit.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, Tom, is that if some of those guys, those young guys, were still playing minor league ball, obviously the records for those
Sure.
minor league affiliates would be different. What it shows you is that the Angels have actually been drafting pretty well. It's just that they like to move guys quickly. They want them to get up to the major league level and experience that. And if they can handle it immediately, like a Logan O'Hoppe or a Zach Neto, Nolan Shinawell, they'll keep them there. But if they don't feel like they're quite ready, or they just want to give them a taste for the big league ball, like they did with Caden Dana and Samuel Aldeguerri last season, then they'll move them back down. But look, we can't be foolish or naive enough as minor league fans to recognize that the Angels are a $2 billion corporation. And so everything that they do is going to center around the major league team and making sure that major league team wins ball games. That's paramount to anything else. And that's why I tell people, whether you're at a Trash Pandas game or a Sounds game or a Louisville Bats game or whatever the case may be, you got to take everything you see with a grain of salt and understand that these guys are here to develop or get better or, stay sharp just in case they get a call up. And that's what the minors are about. And hopefully you can win a bunch of games along the way. Winning is certainly a part of development, but at the end of the day, it's development first. And we all understand that, and we recognize that as organization.
It's interesting. We just got news yesterday, of course, that the Lakers have been sold for $10 billion. You talk about the Angels being a $2 billion organization. In the Forbes listings, this was kind of shocking to me because I went to the Forbes listings to see, what were they saying that they were worth? They said that the Cowboys were worth $10 billion and that the Lakers were 8th on the list and that they were worth $7 billion. So they end up going for $10 billion. But the Los Angeles Dodgers are 24th on the list, worth $5.45 billion, almost, half of what the Lakers went for. So what they're telling me is that the Dodgers and the Angels combined are worth less than the Lakers. I don't think that that's the case if somebody threw a for sale sign up on either of those teams, but it's just, that's how stunning that amount was that the Lakers went for.
Well, you got to remember right now in our day and age, baseball is struggling a little bit in terms of popularity and how much they're worth and, what we're paying players. There's no salary cap and things like that. So when you combine all those things together, you start to recognize that it's a lot. You're not going to make as much revenue through baseball as you will through basketball or football, certainly. Now, football, you can pretty much name a price if you're a team
it's a
owner
different
right
world.
now. Yeah, and in basketball, obviously the Lakers are an all-time franchise. And on top of that, right now, it's you still have to shell out a lot of money to get quality players, but you don't have as many players. You also have a salary cap in the NBA.
Well,
in the Major League Baseball, there's no salary cap, and you also have more players that you have to take care of. So at the end of the day, if you're drawing 15 to 20,000 fans a game, you're probably not walking home with as much money as your cohorts in those other sports. And so it makes a lot of sense to me, although I would expect at least the Dodgers to be a little closer to the Lakers than they are right now.
Yeah, I would think that they would be. It's the long-term contracts, too. I mean, there's so many of these $200, $300, $400, $500 million contracts that are burdening, some of these baseball teams in terms of what their books look like. Now, they have the Yankees. The Yankees are most valuable baseball team, and they have them at $7.55 million, more than what the Lakers were. The Lakers went for more than that, and I assume that the Yankees would as well if that were to happen. But the big thing is TV money, right? I mean, baseball is very much still regional, right? You got all these regional networks paying a small amount, to each of these teams, and there's not a lot of national money. Whereas at the NBA and the NFL, those two sports have huge national contracts, where with baseball, we saw what ESPN jumped out. I think NBC is going to jump in, but you don't see a lot of big national contracts for baseball broadcasts, where that money then gets whacked up amongst the 30 teams.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, I think they can change that, Tom. When you look at how the NBA has made it work in the past with NBC and currently with Turner and ESPN and what they're going to do next year, you can do it, but you got to find a way to make that an event, right? So if you do a Saturday game of the week between the Dodgers and the Giants, Well, you got to pump that up and make that a big deal and market it and push it out there and get people excited about that. Maybe not overwhelm fans so much because baseball is a daily sport. But when I look at the NBA and what they've been able to do, they've made Thursday night a thing on Turner, right? They've made Wednesdays a thing on ESPN. They did have it on Sundays for ESPN as well. For baseball, you might get a game of the week on Fox, but it's just kind of any ordinary game. And usually you're splitting the country with, a game in this region, a game in that region, et cetera, instead of having one national game. So if they want to do what ESPN and Turner are doing with basketball, you got to find one game a week that everyone can get on board on, get excited about, and make that a marquee event, whether it's a Saturday, a Friday, a Tuesday, whatever. Make that a thing. And right now, that's just not happening.
Yeah, well, everybody in these parts were excited about that game last night in Atlanta where Chris Sale goes 8 2/3. I still can't get over that. I know he was, I guess, 116 pitches. I thought he was at 102 when the inning started, but he goes, he's 8 2/3. He's 1 out away with a guy. He gives up a single, and he's 1 out away from a complete game shutout. He hasn't done that since 2019. And I know it's just all about winning a game, but man, 1 out. I mean, you one more shot to get that grounder to second, and get the force out and get out of there with something that is that means something. But what a great outing by him! And now here you got a third straight series win. This one against the Mets, but going here tonight. So not a bad couple of days, but I would have loved to see him get that final out.
Yeah, it's hindsight's always 20/20. The thing with it is if he gives up another hit and then maybe a third hit and then bring in the reliever and the reliever gives up a single and then a home run, then suddenly everyone says, why did you take him out earlier? At the end of the day, the job is to get a win. And right now the Braves need a lot of those because they got to hop a bunch of teams. So that's number one, just get the win. But right now they're playing pretty good baseball. I'm still not going to, do cartwheels over these guys just yet, but now you have a chance to sweep a pretty good team in the Mets this week, and maybe that's the turning point for them. Maybe that's what gets them going over the next month or so, which is what they're going to really need. They're going to have to go on a nice long run, and they're going to have to do it against tough teams. They got to go back to New York later this month. I know they get the Phillies for a few games as well. You got to start somewhere, and if that somewhere is a Marcelo Ozuna bases clearing double on Tuesday night, then so be it. But you needed wins, and now they're starting to play a little bit better. You just hope it's not too late.
Yeah, you wonder if that moment in time, if they were able to work their way all the way back and at least get into the wild card, if we're talking in September about that night on, June 17th, when they came back from down 4-1 to win that game against the Mets, and then that propelled them to whatever it is that they can get to. We'll see how it all works out. Still 11 back of the Mets, and I think 6 or 7 back of the last wild card spot. So they got to do, but like I've been saying it all week. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. All you can do is win one game at a time, right? To go out there and get something done, and then you have these little markers, right? Like All-Star break. Mm-hmm. All-Star break is in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. Well, if you can get back to 500 by the All-Star break, you're 6 games under right now. That's a watershed mark, So maybe something like that happens. I mean, that's the only way you can look at it, I think.
Well, and keep in mind, Alex Anthopoulos has flat out said he's not going to sell. I mean, now if they go on another swoon here and lose 6 games in a row, maybe that'll change. But at the end of the day, what is there really to sell right now? I mean, I guess you could unload some of these contracts that you have, if it's at all possible. But at the end of the day, they look like they're still committed to winning this year, which they should be. The question is there anything that you can offer up that's going to allow you to get stronger come the trade deadline? Yeah. Go ahead.
To get stronger. I mean, there is something to sell if you're still where you're at now. If they get to the trade deadline and they're still under 500, and Ward just hit a home run for the Angels and make that a 4-3 game there. So they tighten that one up a little bit there. Taylor Ward with the home run against Carlos Rodon. If they were still flopping around in this spot, 6-7 games out of the wild card, under 500, whatever, the guy to sell maybe Sale. because of the fact he's 36 years old, and you get a boatload probably for a 36-year-old Chris Sale. But, if you feel like, this is going to be a couple of years to get right back to where you need to be. Yeah. This has been amazing. What Chris Sale has done since he got to Atlanta is mind-boggling. I thought he was washed when they got him. I was like, wow, now he's on the verge of winning back-to-back Cy Youngs possibly. So, you might want to strike while the iron's hot. I think that would be the biggest chip that you have, because some team that's close, would maybe make that move and give you a boatload for a 36-year-old pitcher.
Well, if so, then, it may be something you want to consider doing even right now. And I only say that because there is nothing in the farm system. I mean, they have really nothing to build upon there. Right. Now, if you can get some major league pieces right now for Chris Sale, maybe you could. But then again, what contender are you going to go out and find that's going to be willing to give you major league pieces right now? So it's a very careful and very delicate balancing act that Alex Anthopoulos is having to deal with right now, because at the end of the day, his team is good enough to be competitive, but they're not really good enough for a World Series right now. That could very well change, but it's a very interesting time because they have so many guys locked into these long-term contracts who right now are underachieving, and yet they could flip it and turn things around here in a heartbeat and be a contender again. You just don't know right now.
Yeah. And Ronald Acuna has been great since he came back. I mean, he's doing a tremendous job for them, and hopefully that'll pick up some of these other guys. All right, always a pleasure. Enjoy your long broadcast day today. And Josh Caray has been our guest. You can pick him up at Talk Radio WZZN in just a couple of hours as they pick up the game from yesterday and finish that one off, and then have the game that they'll have tonight. Appreciate you as always.
All right, be good, sir.
All right, we're going to break in here. We will come back. Open lines. If you want to jump on board, you can do it next right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
how do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bad compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well to try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
You've got to experience Toyota-thon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyota-thon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Beau Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Beau knows land.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, where thousands of area residents have gotten world-class care from the Valley's most trusted and experienced group of orthopedic surgeons and medical specialists. So if you have an orthopedic problem and you're considering professional care, TOC is the only logical choice. Whether you have a work-related injury or got sidelined playing a sport you love, you need the best care, the best physicians, the best facility to get you back in a game. And I think you're going to agree that the Orthopedic Center is right for you. And welcome back. Thom Abraham Show. All right, just a few minutes to go, so let's go ahead and hit the lines. We start with LSU Lynch. LSU Lynch, welcome to the show. How are you?
Something real quick. Just shout out to West Neighbors. The only way that I knew his mama, y'all, was going to Star Market, and we would talk and cut up. She'd cut up with everybody. You hear me? And there was a lot of times she'd just be up there shopping, and she would go sit in her car when West came on at 5 o'clock just to hear it. I kid you not. She's going to be missed. I'm going to miss seeing her because we all in 5 Points. It's a big Star Market community. Thank you for taking my phone call.
I appreciate you. I hadn't seen her since last year about this time. She would come to the Rocket City Awards and really had a good time at the Rocket City Awards. So we will miss her. She had a good long life, no doubt. And, she doesn't she's out of pain now. And I know it's hard for the family, but in the long run, they know she had a wonderful life. There was no doubt about it. Up next is LSU Lynch brother from another mother, Grumpy. Grumpy, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. I just want to say happy Juneteenth and my condolences to Wes. And I heard about it yesterday, and I got to thinking, I wonder how many football games that his mother went to in her lifetime.
Oh my! From the NFL and with Big Billy back in the day, in his 10 years in the NFL, to all the boys playing and nephews and grandsons with Hayden and Keith's son Hayden and so on and Wes's boys as well. And oh my gosh, who knows how many games she must have gone to?
Yeah, and time is short. I just want to say this: baseball Don't cut it to 7 innings, man. That's what I wanted to say. Just take an inning off, shave an inning off, cut them to 8-inning games, and I think that the sport would explode. I really do. Thanks.
So 1 inning. All right. So 1 inning would make the difference. For double headers, I would love to see us get back to, tightening up the schedule a little. I would love to see the guys have Mondays off. I would love to see them have 1 day off a week. But I would love to see Sunday doubleheaders, and I'd like to see them be 7-inning doubleheaders. I don't think it destroys the record book. The record book was already destroyed by the juicers. They already did that. No, I don't think that would that would hurt. Vinny hit the text window. Please relay my condolences to Wes on the passing of his mother. We appreciate that, Vinny, and others who have commented as well on and off the air as well. All right, phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. We'll get you into the show if you want to jump on board. You can do that. As I said, we will be off tomorrow, so we won't be back until next Monday. And, I hope my comments, if you missed them, about Juneteenth were taken in the right way. I'm not against celebrating emancipation, not in any way, shape, or form. I don't understand it being on this day. I don't understand why it's not, Joe, the day that the Emancipation Proclamation was ratified, which is December 6th in 1865. I don't know why. It's just a Texas thing. This day is the day that the folks in Galveston Bay, Texas, 2 years after President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, 2 years later, this was the day that word got to those folks in Galveston, Texas, freeing 250,000 slaves that were in Texas itself. This is a Texas issue. Everyone wants to be a holiday in Texas, fine, but why not do federally? Why not on the day of the Emancipation Proclamation?
Well, because this is the day that the entire country became free.
No, you know what? No, this is the day that they found out that they were free. You know what I mean? The day that they became free was the day of the Emancipation Proclamation being ratified. That's the day that they were free. The fact that it took 2 years to let the folks in Texas know is that's a Texas. How did the people in Oklahoma know? How could the people in Louisiana know? When did they get to know? You know what I mean? I mean, it's a Texas thing. So I don't know. We have an Emancipation Proclamation.
Again, it's for those 2 years afterwards, the entire country still wasn't free because there were still people that were slaves.
Yeah, the one state.
It was longer than that. I mean, you can look it up. It was almost, I think, like a year or so that Alabama started to actually recognize it. So, I mean, this is the day that finally every state was free.
Yeah. I mean, I get that, but I think in the end, the day of the Emancipation Proclamation being ratified, to me, is the most significant day in history as it relates to slavery. But I don't know. It just seems weird to me. But it is what it is. And those of you that have the day off, good job by you. All right, that's going to do it for us. Have yourself a wonderful weekend, and we will see you on Monday. For Joe, I'm Tom. Have a great day, everybody.
This is Sports Center. I'm Christine Lisi. The Larry O'Brien Trophy will be in the house tonight in Indiana. Thunder will look to get its NBA Championship Series clinching victory in Game 6 of the Finals against the Pacers and claim that trophy. 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio, 8:30 Eastern on ABC. With a win tonight, OKC would become just the third NBA